It is time for the 2025 6 Scale Figure Awards with your host, 6 Scale Seth. Hello, yes, that is I, and we have prepared an amazing show for you today. Are you ready for the most biased collecting award show of the year? Because I made the categories and I chose what belongs in each, except for one category where I actually asked for your guys' help. I asked the community which Hot Toys figure you would declare figure of the year, so I'm excited to find out. But let me start the show off right by being the first to wish you a happy new year, because I need to thank each and every one of you out there for coming along with us on our collecting journey this year. I have been having so much fun making videos, talking you guys down in the comments, and just building out an amazing community. So I look forward to continuing our collecting journey going into 2026 and beyond. But now we need to get into wrapping up this wild year of 2025, so we'll talk a little bit more at the end of the show. There have been many figures released this year by Hot Toys, Inart, JND, and even some third-party companies. These newer companies that have popped up have given Hot Toys a run for their money and have even surpassed them in the quality department in some cases, giving us figures that Hot Toys may never even touch. Of course, Hot Toys dominate Star Wars and Marvel, but these other companies have given us amazing figures from franchises like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, arguably better DC figures, and so much more. So the main rule that we will follow for this show will be that these figures have to have been released this year. But we will talk about some current POs for 2026 in a future video. And we're going to have 8 categories to get through before we get to the 2 main events, crowning the Hot Toys Community Figure of the Year, and of course counting down to my personal figure of the year. So strap in, get your angry comments ready, and let's look at the first category. But real quick, if you enjoy content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and hit the bell to be notified when new content goes live. Now, let's get into it. Priciest figure. First up, we need to give out the most expensive figure of the year award. The hobby can be pricey with figures ranging from $250 to $500, but nowadays, it can even be much more than that. So not counting custom figures, of course, this award has to go to the JND's Heath Ledger Joker. This figure is very expensive, especially since the Type C version is listed at $1,700 on their site, but that version does get you 2 figures. And for the Type A version, which is just 1 figure, I could find it going for over $1,000, especially when you factor in tax and shipping. But I do have to say, this Joker looks insanely lifelike, and I know that in hand it feels even more lifelike. It gets actual rooted hair, a silicone body including the head, magnetic glass eyes, seamless forearms, and so much more. After seeing how great this figure came out, I knew I had to put in a PO for their John Wick Chapter 1 and Chapter 4 Type C 2-pack, so let's hope that those figures come out looking as good as this Joker. Best Inart figure. Now the next category. Ever since Inart has began making 1/6 scale figures, they have been knocking it out of the park with every release and has shown Hot Toys how implanted hair should be done. They've made some amazing additions to their Lord of the Rings line this year, but like I said, this show will be a little biased, so the award for the best Inart figure release of 2025 goes to none other than Severus Snape. As a huge Harry Potter fan, Snape was a dopo for me, and this figure came out with a flawless likeness to Alan Rickman's portrayal of the character. However, I did skip Inart's Harry, Ron, Hermione, Draco, and we'll probably skip their first version of Dumbledore because this Snape is labeled as the Half-Blood Prince version. So I'm really hoping they give us these characters from the later movies as well, like the Half-Blood Prince, because then I would want to pick them all up as I prefer watching the later movies. Yes, I do love all the movies and these figures look amazing, but for me, it would make more sense to have older versions of the characters for whenever Inart gives us a Voldemort, because they better give us one. But I will say they definitely don't need to give us a Harry with that haircut from the Goblet of Fire. Most controversial. Now let's give out the award for the most controversial figure of the year. And of course, this has to be a figure that's left the community divided, and by divided, we could also say it's because it's one that I really love the look of, that I haven't ordered, but others seem to despise. This is a tough category since I don't have this figure in hand yet, but this award has to go to the classic blue and gray suit Batman by Hot Toys. I love this color scheme and look for the suit. This of course is an exclusive figure from the Flash movie, and people in the community were clowning on this figure because of one mouth plate and of course the wrinkles on the cowl. And honestly, yeah, the wrinkles I don't really like either, but come on, there's 3 mouth plates, so that one mouth plate that you guys were clowning on, just don't put it on the figure. The suit overall though just looks awesome, and hopefully my opinion won't change when I get it in hand, but hey, that's why it's a controversial one, because when I get it in, maybe I will think it looks dumb. Best pairing. Now let's give out the award for the best figure pairing of 2025, and this is an obvious one. This category isn't for figure 2-packs or anything, but I don't know why any Marvel collector wouldn't already have these two in their collection anyway. Of course, this goes to Hot Toys, Deadpool, and Wolverine. And the cool thing about this pairing is that there are 2 Deadpools to choose from, the clean and battle damage Deadpool, and of course many Wolverines to choose from that have already released. There's a collector's edition yellow and blue suit, but the superior version is always going to be the deluxe version because you get battle damage parts, the head sculpt, and yeah, it just looks so good. But of course, there's a TVA jacket Wolverine that everyone who gets that one is just going to put that jacket back in the box anyway, that yes, I'm also going to be getting to get my hands all over on soon. And although it's exclusive, there is a classic brown and tan suit Wolverine, which I do have, and man, I love that figure. There's something about that suit that just speaks to me. But overall, if you get the yellow and blue suit deluxe edition of Wolverine and then one of the Deadpools, yeah, you are rocking the best pairing of 2025. Best third party. As for the award for the best third party figure of the year, yes, this goes immediately to Lim Toys Nathan Drake. I got the reissue version of this figure and I am so happy I did. I grew up playing Uncharted and Nathan Drake is a peak protagonist. Of course, my favorite look from the games is his Uncharted 3 look, but this Uncharted 4 figure is perfect. That base with a treasure from all 4 games is gorgeous, and the inclusion of his journal with actual printing inside of it, the 2 head sculpts, a die-cast coin, and so much more makes this a phenomenal figure. And getting this one in hand made me even more excited for Lim Toys to release their Joel, Ellie, and Clicker from The Last of Us Part 1, the game, not the show, because I'm getting all 3 of those figures. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else Lim Toys comes out with, because I may need to go backwards and get some of their past releases like their Arthur Morgan and John Marston, because those ones also look amazing. But for me, this Nathan Drake figure has put Lim Toys on my radar as a collector, so I'm always going to be keeping an eye out for what they're coming out with next. And as for this year, this Nathan Drake is the third party figure of the year. Best Artisan Figure. Now for the award for the best Hot Toys Artisan release. The Artisan line has been a bit rocky, with many collectors having glue issues on their hair of the figures that they, in most cases, paid over $100 extra for to get over the sculpted hair versions. But one figure that looks to have come out great that I wish I got in the queue for, but it was before I started collecting, is the Artisan Black Widow from Iron Man 2. This figure looks gorgeous. The implanted hair looks outstanding, the proportions look great, and this has to be one of my favorite looks for Black Widow, with her look from Winter Soldier being a strong competitor. But then again, she has a lot of amazing looks throughout her time in the MCU, so we will definitely be seeing more versions of her in the future as a figure. But as for the Artisan line, this is a figure that was greatly enhanced by the use of implanted hair, and it released this year, and out of all the other Artisan releases, this was my personal favorite. Best Comic Figure. Now the award for the best comic book figure is another Hot Toys figure. It's the comic version of Venom. I know that many of you would have probably chosen the Dark Knight Batman, but for me, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and my first Venom in the collection is actually going to be this Venom right here. It looks absolutely amazing. The body, the head sculpt, the base, everything is just going to make this Venom stand out on the shelf with my Spider-Man figures. Of course, the 21 inches of Venom exists, but this Venom is much more realistic to get for collectors with shorter shells like me. I just love everything about this release, so yes, it is the best comic figure of the year. Worst figure. Now, before we get to the main events, we need to give out the award for the worst figure of the year. And this has to be the One Piece Monkey D. Luffy figure. I know that I'm not in a One Piece, so that definitely plays a role in me not liking this figure, but I don't even think the Hot Toys care too much. Just look at this figure. The joints for the shoulders, elbows, and knees are all visible. And if you want your figures to look as realistic as possible in display, this one is not it. It just looks like a toy in the worst way possible. And sure, there are seamless stretchy arms and leg pieces, but they shouldn't make you use those if you want a seamless look. Just look at those Arcane figures, for example. They gave them a whole seamless arms, seamless legs, and those ones look absolutely stunning. So you could tell they cared a bit more about that over this figure. So as for this One Piece figure, it's a complete fail. Community choice. Now for the Community Hot Toys figure of the year. I put up a poll on my channel asking the community which Hot Toys figure is their figure of the year. I gave the options of Wolverine, General Grievous, and Battle Damage Darth Vader, as I believe that these are the top 3 Hot Toys figures of the year. I added another section for write-ins, but there weren't too many comments mentioning other figures, but I'll give a shout out to the ones commented, starting with Darth Maul 2.0 and the T-800 2.0. But I don't know if they meant the clean or battle damage version, but both of them look pretty good. And also, just a note, these are the results at the time of me filming, so I'll definitely put up a screenshot of what it looks like, but if it changes in the future, yeah, I just looked at it at this point in time. In 3rd place, the community put General Grievous. In 2nd place, we have Battle Damage Darth Vader. Then in 1st place, of course, we have the Wolverine with 41% of the votes. I recently reviewed this Wolverine on the channel, and yeah, it deserves to be the community Hot Toys figure of the year because it looks insanely lifelike. It has a flawless 10 out of 10 Hugh Jackman head sculpt, seamless arms, and swap out battle damage parts if you do want to go for the deluxe edition, which is the edition you should go for because that's also how you get the head sculpt. But of course, those of you who did watch that review know that mine did come in with some issues. So the real question is, will I agree that he is the figure of the year? Figure of the year. So now, it is time for my figure of the year list, and my list does not only include Hot Toys. We have 5 figures to count down now, and of course, not all these ones are ones that I have in hand, but they did release this year, and I'm kind of basing off how badly I want to get them in. I looked at the blogger photos and watched other collectors' videos, and yeah, I believe that these will be the top 5 figures of the year. But what's going to be a number 1? So in 5th place, we have Lim Toys Nathan Drake. As I said earlier, I grew up on Uncharted, and having that nostalgia in figure form in my collection is amazing. On top of that, this figure just looks incredibly accurate to his video game model. The base is a standout with all the little treasures on it, but man, they even pay attention to the little details because he gets like seamless arms on the one arm that doesn't have the watch. Yeah, just definitely keep an eye out for Lim Toys announcements in the future because despite being a third-party company, they produce some bangers. And as for Lim Toys Nathan Drake, if you don't already have him and you love Uncharted, I think it's one you might need to track down because you will not be disappointed. Once you get this figure in hand and even just simply go through his notebook, yeah, you're gonna fall in love. At number 4, we have Hot Toys General Grievous. This figure is insanely good. It is awesome that Hot Toys has given us a die-cast General Grievous because the joints feel incredibly sturdy. And of course, this is a necessary pickup for prequel and Clone Wars fans. But I will say I wish we got a less battle damage mask, but that was my only main nitpick with this figure because he has a crazy amount of presence in the display. And of course, this figure is so tall, to fit him in my display, I had to crouch him down quite a bit. And now Hot Toys is even giving us one of his magma guards, so dang, us prequel and Clone Wars fans, we are eating well. I don't ever see this figure leaving my collection, so he had to be on the list at number 4. At number 3 now, we have the Hot Toys Deluxe Edition Wolverine, and yes, I know this is going to be a disappointment for some of you out there. Of course, it depends on how much you love the franchises, but you may agree with my top 2 picks. But this Wolverine, it's outstanding. It is the most realistic looking figure I think I have ever held in my hands along my collecting journey so far, and I felt like I was just holding a mini Hugh Jackman while doing the review. Yes, my figure came in with a bent wing, but I was able to fix it, and I just cannot stop thinking about how good these Hot Toys Wolverines are. I got in my brown suit as well, and yes, I kind of like the more muted colors of that suit a little more, but that one was exclusive, and I would be lying if I didn't say that the yellow suit pops way more on the shelf. You could tell I was super impressed by these figures after reviewing them because I went ahead and put in an order for the shirtless Wolverine, and I still have the Apocalypse Wolverine on order. So yeah, I'm gonna have lots of Wolverines in the collection, but honestly, these figures look so good that I think it's gonna be worth it. If you're a Marvel collector, you probably already have this Wolverine or have one on order, but if you don't, I don't know what you're doing because this yellow suit Wolverine, especially the deluxe edition, it needs to be on every single Marvel collector's shelf. Now at number 2, we have Inart Severus Snape, and holy guacamole, this figure is insane. I have not received mine yet, but looking at the photos and videos of it in hand, man, I'm jealous. The implanted hair looks incredible, and that likeness to Alan Rickman is flawless. Inart as a company, I believe, is pretty awesome as well, because they also added his table after the fact once they received a bunch of feedback, which is just a great thing for them to do. And while I'm at it, Inart needs another little shout out, because you know their T800 from Terminator 1 they put up for PO? They actually changed it, and for the same price, you get 2 bodies now, so you can actually display the battle damage version and the clean version. So that's just awesome. I really like when they do stuff like that and just listen to feedback. I don't know when I'm going to get my Snape in hand yet, but man, I'm so excited. I would love to have a whole shelf dedicated to Harry Potter, and yes, they have to give us a Voldemort. There is no way they don't. And knowing that they hopefully will is the main driving factor in me wanting to get the figures, or like all the characters as figures when they're a bit older in the later movies, because then it would just make sense. Of course, Voldemort wasn't there when they were the kid versions or like the youngest versions from the first movies. So if we get the aged up versions from like Half-Blood Prince or something, that would just be perfect. But man, if I'm ever asked if Alan Rickman's Snape is the best character in the Harry Potter franchise, I have to reply,
always.
And now, my personal figure of the year. I have not gotten this one in hand yet, of course, but it is a figure that we may not get another chance at for quite a while, and many of us never saw coming, especially with such amazing accessories and all these options and stuff. And yes, it is the Battle Damaged Darth Vader Deluxe Edition. I am a huge Star Wars fan, and this figure looks insanely good and is one that I will always have to have in my collection. I love the prequels, so I am so happy that we actually get a Hayden Christensen likeness for the unmasked head, and man, we get 3 different looks with this figure. I even managed to lock in the special edition, which gets a little attachable mask piece for the unmasked head sculpt. Then the standout here is the deluxe edition sculpted cape. That cape forms Vader's mask, and yes, this figure is going to be huge and will take up a ton of space, but the amount of presents and stuff it'll have, it's going to be worth it. So I am so excited to get this one on my shelf. The other cool thing is that this is sort of a kind of unofficial The Force Unleashed Vader, since he looked basically like this after Starkiller messed him up in those games. And those games, it's another one that I love playing. And it's funny, the first one I actually played on the Nintendo DS, and then the second one I actually played on the Wii. So I probably didn't play the best versions of those games, but of course I went back and replayed them later on PC. And yeah, I love those games. So this Vader has to go next to my Lord Starkiller as well. The Kenobi Vader, he was cool with all that battle damage, but I just love the idea of the extra battle damage on this one. Even the mask looks better with the slash through it. I love seeing all the exposed robotic pieces, especially the Hayden Christensen head sculpt. For me, he's Anakin, he's Vader. I love this figure. It looks absolutely stunning. And Vader, he is an awesome character, and he was a menace in the comics. So this figure, yeah, as a Star Wars fan, I think this is one you also have to have. And that has been the 2025 6 Scale Figure Awards, but now we need to chat a little bit. This has been my first year collecting and making videos, and I just have to say thank you to each and every one of you out there. Because of all of you, my channel recently got monetized as well, and although I haven't gotten to the threshold to cash out or anything yet, I look forward to using the funds to just upgrade my equipment, like a mic upgrade, and even build out a cooler set for reviews. I'd love to set something up that's not just a light box. I could have some cooler lighting and stuff, and maybe do it in front of my actual display cases. But yeah, also I'm upgrading from my IKEA displays to module cases next year. So it's not going to be all my displays. I'm still going to keep the Brotar ones, but the IKEA ones I'm going to swap out and basically just swap them out with some module cases, which is awesome. And of course, getting monetized also helps me get in more figures for reviews and just making fun videos with. And of course, a special thank you to the channel members, because I am grateful for those of you out there that have become channel members to further support the channel. And I hope I continue to make that membership worth it for you by putting out like exclusive content, behind the scenes footage and posts and stuff like that. I am planning on doing a member exclusive holidays haul video, because I have a ton of boxes next to me right now from Black Friday. And I kind of want to give you guys that behind the scenes look as to what's coming up on the channel for the next year. One last thing to talk about real quick to wrap up the year is the gaming channel. And yes, I've been slacking on that channel, but I have so much I want to make for the main channel here that honestly, I just haven't had much time to make more content over there. But I do want to continue doing more VR and maybe more live streams here and there, even though honestly, I like no viewers. So, you know, I was just talking to myself the whole time. But for now, that's it. I wish you all an amazing 2026, and I look forward to continuing our collecting journey. And as always, just comment down below your thoughts on the video. I know it might be a bit of a controversial one because it's, like I said, a little biased. It's everything that I think, but you know, take my categories, categorize them, and put what you would have put in each category. And yeah, let's just discuss down there. If you did enjoy the video, definitely give it a like and definitely hit subscribe for much more content like this. But I look forward to talking to you again very soon. But until next time, stay 6 scale.